The Trade Federation have no presence there.
How can you be sure?
It's controlled by the Hutts.
You can't take a Royal Highness there. The Hutts are gangsters. 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 You can't take a Royal Highness there. Gangsters. The Hutts are gangsters. 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 You can't take a Royal Highness there. Gangsters. The Hutts are gangsters.
Hello there. Kyle Katarn here.
I'm the Bendu.
Welcome back to the Dork Forces podcast, episode 95. Got a fun show full of news and rumors for you. How's everybody doing? Yes, hello there, indeed.
Keeping it, tonight, there's been a lot going on. January, or the end of January, surprisingly, has really just been a long month. You know, I feel like these last 2 weeks of January always really kind of stretch and drag and really sort of like the worst.
The weather gets pretty heavy around this time too, you know, and that has an effect on you, I think.
Absolutely. So shout out and thank you to everyone joining us this evening.
Yeah, plenty of things to be excited about, plenty of things to look forward to help us get through this heavy January, right?
My angles here. Like, yeah, it is.
Oh, well, thank you. We love you too. Yeah, we've got a couple of interesting things happening in the news surrounding Star Wars in this last week. First of all, just yesterday, a rumor got reported by Christian Harloff via Star Wars Newsnet about Natalie Portman potentially signing a deal. The language was close to signing a deal to appear in Ahsoka Season 2. Later that same day, however, it was revealed to be a bogus story, and the rumor has officially been debunked. So, just kidding. That is not.
We here at the Dork Forces aren't normally ones to perpetuate false news or false advertising, but we were getting questions, and we wanted to kind of address this all. I mean, either of us. I mean, 100%. We're here for Natalie Portman, absolutely. And
what's your take? What's your take when you heard the news? Were you skeptical, or did you buy into it?
I mean, I immediately thought flashback. Immediately, it was like,
sure.
She's gonna put on the white jumpsuit. We're gonna get, it's gonna be in between Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith. Obviously, if anything, like, or worst case scenario, like the most boring thing that they could have done is just like put her in a pregnancy suit and like had it just be Padme's funeral. But it's like we got to see.
Yeah, that's true.
We got to see Padme's funeral in Tales of the Jedi.
I mean, so I don't know, man. You cast Natalie Portman just to play a dead person. That's a very
that wouldn't. Yeah, but it would definitely be for like a 1 episode flashback sort of thing. But
right. I'm just thinking like you could manufacture a like photorealistic Natalie Portman corpse to shoot that scene, and it would probably cost less to make that than it would to pay her to show up on set for 1 day. I feel like if you're going to go to the trouble of getting Natalie Portman, then like swing for the fences, have a full-blown scene with dialogue and what have you. But a guy can dream, but that's all it's going to be is dreams, because that story was in fact debunked. That is not actually happening. But who knows? Who knows? There's always a glimmer of hope. They could be playing damage control and denying it. But don't hold any stock in that. If you're hearing people talk about Natalie Portman in Star Wars, just know that rumor was debunked.
Yeah, I mean, similarly, if Padme, we're not like just Natalie Portman aside, even if Padme were to show up in Ahsoka Season 2, like it would have to be just a 1 episode thing. Like I can't imagine it being like her character would hold just like a heavy, just like a heavy standing character arc within the story. Because like even when Liam Neeson showed up as Qui-Gon for Kenobi, like it was only for that last like 2 minutes of the very last episode.
It's a cherry on top. It's a cherry on top.
So totally. So I mean, or if anything, like if we were to get a legacy of the Force, or not Legacy of the Force, Forces of Destiny, or like if we were to get Natalie Portman to even be Padme's voice actor, I mean, like there's so many still possibilities, and I think she said that she's open.
She has. I think that's one of the reasons why this wild rumor had so many legs under it to start off with, is because it felt compounded by Natalie Portman's own statements in the past saying how open she'd be to returning to Star Wars. And hopefully it happens someday. But I don't think Ahsoka
This-
season 2 is
yeah,
where you should expect.
This is going to be the time. for that.
Speaking of casting rumors, though, we have one which is a little bit more solid, and that is that Ryan Gosling is in talks to star in the upcoming Star Wars movie that's being directed by Sean Levy, the director of Deadpool 3, which I haven't seen, The Adam Project, which I also haven't seen. Yikes, I need to do my homework. And Free Guy, which I did see. I did see Free Guy. And this is being reported by The Hollywood Reporter. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is true and not. Give me your first take on that, Bendu. Ryan Gosling in Star Wars. What does that make you think of? What does that make you feel? How do you feel?
We don't want to get into that unless we really wanted to make an episode about mental health awareness, which I'm totally fine to do, but I don't think today.
Oh, we're getting real. We just got real here.
But I mean, like, I don't remember if it was that director in particular, but I remember someone talking about that if they ever had the opportunity of making a Star Wars movie, that they specifically wanted to do something that was very like non-traditional Star Wars. So I mean, that makes sense. I mean, Ryan Gosling. My only issue with, or not issue, but like, I would
reservation.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't get like character types, like his character in Blade Runner, for example. I hope that it's not just like a copy paste of like, oh, he was really good as like a noir detective. Let's have him also be a noir detective, but in
totally. You don't want to just pigeonhole him and have him do another Blade Runner. Yeah.
But like, I think he gets really good, like, because Ryan Gosling, between the Barbie movie, like he was amazing in Barbie, and then he was great in Blade Runner also. So it's like he
wasn't in Free Guy or Adam Project. They were both directed by Sean Levy, who was directing the upcoming Star Wars project that is potentially starring Ryan Gosling.
So like I feel like he's done enough random stuff and in between characters that like sci-fi isn't completely.
He's versatile. He's got the chops, man. I've had a lot of respect for Ryan Gosling and the level of acting versatility that he actually has. He was great in Drive. Thought that was really, really, like, that movie is weird, man. It's very interesting, but his performance is solid.
And it's like
he's hit all the different extremes in the characters that he's done. I would like to see him in Star Wars. I guess the big question is, who does he play? You know, what kind of character would he play?
That's true. And it's like, from what I remember as well, he's not one of those actors who in the past has made fun of Star Wars or has like made fun of Star Wars actors. Cough, cough, Bill Burr. And
all actors are gonna take the job. I mean,
right, but they don't. But what I mean is, like, they haven't outwardly said like, "Oh, those kind of fans are ridiculous fans," sort of a thing, or like he's never put himself out there, be like, "Oh, I find myself above doing XYZ type of movie." Like, he's never said that.
That's true, and that's definitely a point in his favor. He's never like besmirched something that is beloved by many. I used to have hard feelings like that about Simon Pegg, because of how much he used to trash talk the prequel trilogy, and like he made so many jokes about like Jar Jar needs to die and all this stuff.
The older he got, he apologized, but still, the point.
Even so, like I was salty that he got an opportunity to be in The Force Awakens as Unkar Plutt after, like, you know, like you're saying, like besmirching, tarnishing this thing. But like, I don't know, you got to think that, like, you know, a lot of time passes between those comments being made and like this new thing that's happening, and like people do change and learn from their past like opinions. Like, I definitely get Facebook memories shows me statuses I wrote when I was like 19 where I'm like, oh God, you know, like I don't stand by every word I've ever said in my life. And I don't know that some of these actors that have talk trash about like those kinds of movies, like, I don't know if they feel the same way these days. You know, people do change over time, but you're right. Ryan Gosling has never said anything disparaging about nerd type stuff or like Star Wars and Marvel and that whole, even though he hasn't really done that, like appeared in that, you know, he respects it.
It's like who are into What's Her Nuts. It's like from What's Her Nuts from the Fast and Furious franchise and from Resident Evil. Like that one lady.
Still need to watch those movies. Oh, Mila Jovovich, right?
That one lady who always gets killed. Yeah, like she had the audacity to try to say that like different fans of different like subtypes bother her, and it's like, bitch, you make a movie about cars, not even talking cars like Disney. You just like you put cars into space and say family. Like that's all your franchise is. And you want to talk shit on other people's fans? Like, whatever, man.
I mean, I think that everyone should just, you know, we should all just respect each other and acknowledge that people can be into things that other people don't like, and that's fine.
Right.
You don't need to talk trash about other people's interests. I mean, but at the same time though, like I feel like people are allowed to make observations about things, and like it can be harmless and it can be chill to like, kind of make fun of each other in like a lighthearted kind of a way. And sometimes people take that as like a very serious attack, when maybe that was never the intention, Not that it's okay to like, make fun of people, but like sometimes people aren't necessarily out to get you. It's just it hurt your feelings, and that's valid. But like they weren't out to hurt. They didn't set out to hurt your feelings. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Star Wars fans, they're always complaining about this and that. Someone in the crowd is like, "What the fuck are you trying to say?" It's like he's trying to say that we're all arguing all the time. That's
dude.
That's
legendary human being.
We argue all the time, and it makes us very sensitive and like ready to defend, like defensive. Whenever you get a comment like, "Oh, nerds are always doing this or that," you're like, "Say it again."
Yeah.
Like take 5 seconds and be like, "Oh, you know what? Maybe I do that a lot." Still, fuck you for saying it, but like, I don't know. I think we all should just hang out and get along. Like nerds, we all have so much in common. We all have this thing, like Star Wars fans, for example. They're so divided. You're in this camp, you're in that camp, but we all love Star Wars. Why can't we all just have that in common and become friends and have this thing that unites us instead of we found a way to make it divisive when all it should do is bring us together. We're all here for Star Wars and lightsabers and all of that. It should never be a reason for us to like dislike another person. That's weird. That's a weird way to twist it up. Everyone should just
be like Neil. It's a very good question, Comrade Bocat.
Neil had it right. Neil cracked the code, man. Why can't we all just get along? Seriously.
But yes, now that Skeleton Crew is over, at some point we'll probably do a full series show breakdown. If not, like we'll definitely be mentioning things and talking.
I'm gonna miss it, man.
Like,
we should be watching it right now. We should be watching the next episode.
I see people in the comments asking about Nosferatu. Like, okay, so in short, we both loved it. In short, it was art. In my opinion, I think I liked it a little bit more than Katarn did, but we're both waiting to rewatch it a second time before doing like our podcast breakdown of it. But
yeah, the full length review is coming soon. I'm not sure what Bendu thinks I think of that movie, but I thought it was phenomenal.
Okay, cool.
I don't know why you think I didn't like it. I don't know.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it. We haven't talked about it enough yet, so we don't know how each other feels about it. But that review is coming. It's going to be its own podcast dedicated.
I am a little jealous.
That movie.
I am a little jealous and curious as to what you have used your Nosferatu sarcophagus popcorn bucket for, and or where is it in the house?
It is currently in the library with all the rest of the popcorn buckets. I just have like a pile of buckets right now.
God, so you haven't started using the Nosferatu sarcophagus for anything yet? I figured it would
not as such
incense box. I thought it would be an amazing incense box because it's like the perfect length. The shit's thick, like deep, like you can fit your whole fist in it.
Yeah, yeah. It's really cool too. It's like embossed tin too. It's like actually made of tin, not plastic. I'll bust it out and we'll review that alongside the movie when we do.
I'll have to get one off eBay.
When we do our special episode for Nosferatu. Yeah, man, I went to the theater to get one like days early, like before the actual movie premiere, and there was already a line specifically for the buckets, like scalpers to put them online and stuff. Come on, man,
bro. Same with the Helm Hammer hands, like the War of the Rohirrim, like hammer bucket. Like the fact
I got that one too.
Thing is just so campy. And
it's such a cash grab. It's such a gimmick, and I get that. But I'm fully bought in.
It all started with a Dune worm.
It's such a fun thing.
It all started with the Dune worm, fleshlight popcorn bucket, and then all the movies.
Oh man!
Were like, you know what? Let's get back into this.
One of my most embarrassing stories was going to the box office to try and pick up the Dune bucket, and I didn't have a ticket to see Dune because I'd already seen it. And I was just trying to get the bucket, and God, the guy looked at me like I was such a pervert. He was like, "Can I get one of those Dune buckets?" He was like, "Do you have a ticket?" I was like,
"No, dude. I just
want the bucket." He's like, "Are you seeing a movie?" I was like, "No, I just want the bucket." And
he like, I saw one yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
You should have given him just a little bit more context to be like, "No, I was here yesterday."
I'm so bad at explaining myself. So many situations in my life are created by myself not explaining things well enough. But that was one of them. We have a couple more news and rumors that we want to get to here. Yeah, but first, let's do a quick commercial break.
Kein Problem mit nur einem Streifen Chewbacca Chewing Gum. Für galaktisch frischen Atem. Chewbacca Chewing Gum. Galaktisch frisch.
God, that thing is so hideous. Every time, nightmare fuel just looking at it. But you know what? Chewbacca chewing gum it's still very much like a good. I don't know. It's just such a hype up phrase. You know, it's like sometimes when you're just like your brain is just looking for some sort of stimulation. You're just
He's
like,
not on drugs. He's upset because he doesn't have any chewing gum.
He doesn't have any Chewbacca chewing gum.
Yeah, he's got to get it in his system, and it's like a Scooby snack for Wookiees. It's canon.
And we don't even know if that is Chewbacca, the same Chewbacca. That's just a very strange looking Wookiee.
It could even be another Wookiee named Chewbacca. Who's to say he's the only Chewbacca in the galaxy?
It's true, right? The Great Baka is just a name that's like been passed down. Well, I guess
Chewbacca means the Great Baka. That's what Chewbacca stands for.
Yeah.
Oh man!
After Ryan Gosling, so yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm great. He knows how to handle a blaster. If they end up giving him force powers and like ending up making him like force sensitive or a Jedi, that would be kind of funny. Or if they just like try to slap on him, or if they just slap a wig on him and be like, "All right, here's Cade Skywalker," like it'd be hilarious. I'm still gonna hear
that's a thought, man.
But I don't think that's it.
What if they do Star Wars Legacy?
Immediately, if it is the Star Wars project that I'm thinking of, then again, that director was very adamant in saying, I want nothing to do with the Skywalkers. I want this to just be its own complete separate thing within the universe.
No, that was Dave Mangold talking about the Dawn of the Jedi movie. That's going to be like the earliest thing about the very first Jedi. This is Sean Levy, who directed the third Wolverine, the Deadpool Wolverine movie.
I mean, that doesn't mean but what is his idea for his Star Wars project?
We don't know.
Yeah,
we know nothing about it, so we don't know what kind of a movie it's really going to be.
But Dawn of the Jedi was the one I was thinking of, though.
Yeah, the James Mangold film, Dawn of the Jedi. That's the one he was talking about wanting to be disconnected from all of the rest of it.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. And is that thing still in like greenlit territory, or is that now still a rumor?
I guess. I hear that it is. It's all talk until a trailer exists.
Right? Exactly.
I've been burned too many times. So they're like, this new cool thing has been greenlit. I'm like, yeah, okay, Tell me it still exists in 6 weeks, and then I'll start getting excited.
Yeah.
It's like we're down in the trenches with all these brand new Star Wars projects, and it's like, yeah, survive a week out here, kid. Then I'll learn your name.
But speaking of sci-fi royalty, though, truly, you did have a rumor around Sigourney Weaver,
right? Yes, Sigourney Weaver. So, like a month or two back, it was reported that Sigourney Weaver had been cast in a role in the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Well, an update on that coming from Jeff Snyder is that the character she's playing is reportedly pretty minor, not appearing in a whole lot of the film, and she is playing a Colonel Bishop of the New Republic.
Oh, nice. Okay. So they just need a really grizzled military person. I dig it. She's going to
be the stern colonel giving Hera a talking to. That's what I'm thinking, is that Hera's going to have to face some sort of like military tribunal or a court martial for going rogue in that episode of Ahsoka. And I feel like this Colonel Bishop will be at the head of the table. It's kind of a cool reference to Alien, her name being Bishop as well.
Yeah, no. I definitely see her potentially wearing some really heavy combat boots, and she's going to be like a sex icon. She's still going to be like, she's going to be as badass.
When did she stop being a sex icon? I must have missed that part. No, she's going to be fantastic. She really like, she played the heroine a lot, but she's really good also as like the authority figure. She's done a lot of that too. I thought she was really, really good in the Avatar movies.
She was sort of like scientist. Yeah.
She was very firm but compassionate in that role, but she had rank. She had authority of the science division.
Yep.
So I feel like she's going to embody at least a little bit of that in this. My question is she actually going to be like on Hera's side, or is she going to be like an obstacle we have to overcome to be able to get to the fight? Maybe Ezra's getting hauled in on charges, Who knows? Like,
But for
The New
what?
Republic has to make some sort of like legal proceeding for like everything that happened in Rebels, and yeah, it's gonna be a minor part. So I don't want to get too hyped about it, but like it's gonna be very fun to see her in Star Wars. I think it's always been a matter of time. You know, she's such a sci-fi icon on her own from Aliens.
Well, in other like even Avatar, everything else that you brought up, like she's been in so many other projects.
Sci-fi royalty. That's what you called her, right?
Yeah, she's like the
nailed
Jamie
it.
Lee Curtis of horror, or a Jamie Lee Curtis of like sci-fi.
Totally. What Jamie Lee Curtis is to horror, she is to sci-fi. I agree. And I hope that she has some. It would be. There's no reason why it would happen, but I want her to interact with Peli Motto, since Peli Motto is like a visual parody of Ellen Ripley with like the hair and the jumpsuit and everything.
Yeah.
It's really funny if Colonel Bishop like makes some comment like, "Hey, I like your hair."
Curly, dude, exactly. Yes, I was just thinking that. It'd be like
that would be like really dumb, but it would be fun.
Bro,
it would be fun.
They have the same haircut. Yes, that would be amazing.
No,
yes, I like your style.
Yeah, exactly. So the other news story that I had came from Instagram, actually, and it came from the actress who almost played a Jedi in Skeleton Crew.
Oh yeah. The lady who is supposed to have trained Jod.
Mm-hmm. Yasmin Al-Masri. She revealed on social media that she played a Jedi in one scene for the show that ended up being cut from the episode. She doesn't outright say it in this post from Instagram, but context really leads me to believe that she was playing the Jedi that young Jod encountered, and we would have seen this in some sort of a flashback. Would have been pretty cool to see, and not for nothing, this character would have been the first Arab female Jedi that we would have gotten on screen, which is also pretty cool.
No, sorry.
It's got to be disappointing. It's got to be disappointing to get the call, get cast in Star Wars,
go to your bed,
and then have your scenes get cut. But that doesn't take the experience away. You still got to put on the Jedi robes and be on set, and I'm very happy for her that she got that. And I must say, she's being very graceful about I don't know that I could mask my disappointment that well if I got cast and then subsequently cut like that. But yeah, she didn't end up in the final cut, so therefore not canon, I believe. So it's possible that they will change their answer if we ever get an answer. If this is even something that needs to be revisited. I don't know that there's this desperate need for Jod's backstory to be like spelled out in that way, which might have led to their decision not to include it in the episode. But, the door is now open for a change to be made if they decided to go another direction, because you can film it, doesn't make it canon. It's got to actually make it to the episode,
That's true. Yeah, and also, I'm absolutely fine with, because Jod's a pirate, right? So, no.
Yes.
It would make sense. It would make sense for him to lie about his backstory, and if we were to get her also, theoretically, that would mean we would need to get a death scene. So it's I'm also cool with not seeing the Inquisitors just go ham on another Jedi just for the sake of backstory.
I don't think it's a given that we would have seen her die. We could have literally just gotten a conversation with her and Jod around a campfire where she teaches him some trick, and then it cuts away, and we all know what happens next because he told us the story. It doesn't necessarily need to be the moment of her death. There's other parts of their dynamic that we could have explored.
That's true.
We might get answers someday. We might even get a season 2. I think it's more likely that we will see elements of Skeleton Crew appear in other stuff. At-Atten's definitely going to be really significant to the story. That much gold, that much money. Come on.
We're definitely going to see that planet again. Yeah, or at least even the technology. If we get to see the floating lightning turrets, dude, those things are still so cool. And the fact that they could just easily camouflage themselves as a cloud, brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant. I'm surprised
it created some of the coolest visuals, the way they would fly through it, and the electricity would crackle at them threateningly, and then just
I'm
turn
amazed.
green and shut down when they were given the green light.
I'm amazed that more planets don't have that as a not anti-aircraft, but just
it's a barrier
atmospheric defense system. It's still.
Well, I mean, it seems like it's not very user friendly. I have to imagine that at least once or twice, ships that were whitelisted got destroyed by malfunction or something like that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
it does seem pretty janky, old-fashioned technology. There's probably safer ways to protect the planet now.
That's fair. Or it'd be like at Disneyland where the magnets don't align quite right, and then the sensor will just shock you anyway. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Plus, who like it probably is super expensive to maintain it, and that's the money is literally no object on at so we wouldn't really see
Yeah, they were
any
also
sort of an effect of
automatic.
that. They could just it's a drop in a bucket for them. So
They were also the
point.
whole planet was self-governed by droids and like
Right.
automatic and like automated by droids. So it's like if they did notice the system failure, I'm sure they would have just flown somebody up there, and tinkered it, would have been fine.
It's weird. They've all got droids, but they're so low tech about it. Like they sent that droid to Farrah's house, and it walked the whole way there. It's like if they got to send someone up to repair the barrier, do they just get like a 3-mile long ladder and have one droid just like climb all the way up
Yeah,
there?
so that wouldn't be like the
Hit
most
it with a hammer, climb all
thing
the way back
ever.
down. It takes them like 4 weeks.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
bit of hazard pay at least.
Man, they don't pay the droids. That's a whole separate conversation.
Yeah.
L337 was right. All right, that's all I'll say.
Bro, the
Absolutely
fact that
right.
the fact that the whole planet still was run by a giant rotating R2D2 head.
Just
that
one? Do you think there was just one, or do you think there was one per vault?
Probably one per planet, not one per vault. Like
One per
the
planet?
whole planet had like what 170 vaults on it, but there were multiple planets because
Yeah,
there were multiple-
1,139.
Damn, it's so specific. But like
Well,
each of
so
the
that we can say
planets-
that there's 1,138 remaining vaults after this one.
yeah, and then like each of the planets did have like one of those Toronto
Legit.
towers. So it's like, I mean, it wouldn't.
Is
wouldn't
that
be-
what's up there
was
in that
just like-
giant tower in Toronto? Do they have a supervisor?
I mean, they had Trudeau.
Running their city? I mean, we've got a supervisor in the Space Needle. We're not supposed to talk about it, but that's what's
That's
up
true.
there. It's a giant droid head here in Seattle. That's why the red lights take so long at the intersections.
It's called
Because
Bezos.
the droid's buffering.
The CN Tower. Yeah, exactly.
CN Tower. Yep. It's full of nothing but droids. You heard it here first.
Planet was run by Big Brother in 1984. Okay, so the French planet, I'm probably like, okay,
An Akron.
so that one probably had something similar to that go off. Like, I'm sure at some point somebody was like, I want to contact my family. Like, you're not letting us contact our family on Coruscant.
You think that someone let the barrier down and like it backfired?
Or like, I'm sure someone like found out that they were like their big boss was a droid, and then like everyone was like, I want more money. Or like, like I'm sure some sort like capitalism.
Society broke down after that.
Capitalism happens some way or another. Yeah, an uprising on the planet. Yeah, but why?
Yeah, totally.
Like
I can
if
see
it was if something where like maybe the droids were like pushing the human workers too hard, sort of a thing, and then the humans were like, we don't want to do that, like pay us better, or so. Like I don't know, because we never really got to see who.
That's an idea. That's an idea too.
We never really got to see. I guess we did see the opposing force, because the opposing force was.
They
the
were
one
just
that-
more residents of the planet. They
Yeah,
weren't
they were
pirates
the ones
from
that
outside
kidnapped
or
them all.
anything.
That's right. They just had more like the helmets and like face.
See, I'm
masks.
wondering if they also had a barrier in orbit, but their barrier failed, crashed down, and devastated the planet. Because
And then probably.
Well, because if it was a war over resources, at least one of these factions should have a stupid amount of gold, right? They should have pallets and pallets of credit. Someone should, because
Yeah,
that
but what
was
does
also
gold mean
produced
if
on
you
this
can't
world. But
What is
unless
what
it
do
was
you
all
have-
destroyed.
What is that gold when you have no food to buy? There's no fucking tomatoes for you to eat. You can't eat credits.
People did not seem altogether stunned when a spaceship landed and people got off, though.
Yeah,
They
that's
weren't like, "Oh my God, you're from outside." They were like, "Oh look, bunch of assholes showed up on a spaceship." Like it was very commonplace to them, which tells me that like there is food to buy. If ships can land here and you've got a ton of money, people can bring you food. Like, so the fact that there's no barrier, the money's got to be gone, because otherwise they would be living in a palace, or they would have left the planet by now, on their own
so then
giant
why
cruiser.
didn't everybody just leave the planet then? Why do the whole French Revolution of like,
Well,
everybody else
That's
left?
what I'm saying. What if the barrier technology came crashing back down and devastated the world, destroying all the ships, most of the technology, sending them back to a dark age of technology, and suddenly everyone goes from like white picket fences to like subsistence survival living?
then I feel like they would have
That'd be like a planet-wide cataclysmic thing, and I'm feeling like the barrier, because they have these massive, scary devices all over the planet. If they all came crashing down at once, like, it would devastate the place.
I feel like then the other rebels,
Exactly.
I feel like the rebels that would trained the kids, they would have just killed them immediately and stole their ship. They're like, oh my god, if you got here on a different ship, none of us have ships, none of us have a way of.
That's what I'm saying. They weren't desperate like that. It's like ships come and go.
Yeah.
Come and go to do what, though? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I like Droid Herder's idea of maybe this was a farm planet too, because maybe one was the bank world, one was the agriculture world, because they had a whole bunch of these worlds in this this grand design. And what if the point of it was to have a little insulated society so that you can rebuild if something wipes everything else out? You know, you've got your food planet, you've got your money planet. We probably had like an industry planet and a textiles planet, totally, and vice and all sorts of things like that. And none of them survived except for the money world. Ka-ching. But who knows? Like that could be another explanation for why they don't have the resources that At-Atin does. But also why they're kind of nonplussed about people showing up. They're like, oh, sweet, fresh recruits. We don't care that there's a spaceship that just landed here. That's not earth-shattering to us in any way. They feel like they're connected to the galaxy, or at least they're familiar enough with it that they don't really care that this ship shows up from nowhere.
Yeah.
Dude, if you parked on At-Atin, like when the supervisor showed up, like everyone in the city dropped what they were doing and stared out the window like, oh my God. It's like if aliens landed here in the middle of Central Park, you know? We would probably stop what we're doing and like just pay attention to what's happening out there, because it's so outside of our daily life.
That is true.
Yeah, that's what the last of the At worlds was. It was the meme planet. It was the first one to get destroyed somehow.
I don't know.
The great hyperspace disaster was bearing down on them, but instead of sending a distress call, they decided to make a meme about how they were going to die. And they used up their last precious seconds. It's okay, though. They went out the way they wanted.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to.
That's dark, man.
They came out the way they went out the way they came in.
Oh, man. All right. We do have a couple more things to get through. Another quick ad break.
今日のおかずはシーチキンシーチキンそのまま食べてもお料理してもシーチキンシーチキンおいしさに平和ありあの世の缶詰シーチキン
Any questions?
I mean, does the power of sea chicken really put aside true political imperial differences between a family?
It's the great equalizer.
It's the great equalizer. C-3PO that was the most excited I've ever seen 3PO get to present something. Like he'd been working on that sea chicken platter hard.
When they sit down, when he's like, you would be honored. I would be honored if you would join us, you know, on Cloud City. And they sit down to like the dinner. If there had been some sea chicken on the table,
there would have been no
maybe it would have gone a different way.
Yeah, maybe
Han would not have fired. He would have been like, smells good. And then the commercial would have played out. And then the movie just sort of ends. I feel like it would have altered the course of history. They might not have made a sequel.
They would have needed a little bit of Cerveza Cristal.
Oh my goodness! Don't even say it. You summoned the name. Where is it? Where is it?
I wasn't prepared. The real ones know.
I don't have any Cerveza Cristal, so I'll just drink this. Yes. You know what, best friend? I haven't seen a single Cerveza Cristal meme with the treasure in Skeleton Crew. I got to get on.
I think it's because it's kids, man. You really can't mess around too much, like when there's kids involved, because kids drinking alcohol, like that's.
Well, no, I mean, like it doesn't have to be the kids. It could be Jod. It could be SM33. It could be Brutus. Could be Cathalops. Honestly, Cathalops deserves.
It would have been
a Crystal.
Cathalos, honestly.
He deserves a beer the most. He was
Oh,
the
man.
MVP.
Yeah, I was gonna say Brutus. Maybe Brutus wouldn't have made so many poor decisions if he was given a Cerveza Cristal. Maybe the reason he was so angry is because he never had the pleasure of being given a Cerveza Cristal.
I think that has a lot to do with it. It's kind of the whole "you're not yourself when you're hungry" kind of deal.
Yeah, we're all hungry.
I've got a lot of these. I really do have a lot of these.
You understand, Star Wars has been around for a very long time.
And the commercials have just been weird since
a lot of different countries just like to interpret Star Wars as they interpret Star Wars, and then we get the media that we get, and sometimes it's just absolutely good stuff.
This
and
is
it's a little bit weird.
Here you go. Here's a vintage Star Wars commercial for you. I got this one ready to go.
Like
this one might be my favorite.
Oh man, like the Toshiba ones.
Well, okay, all of the Japanese ones, like the Panasonic, George Lucas ones.
Oh man, those are so.
This is the commercial for the original Star Wars X-wing and TIE Fighter in the arcade. This guy cracks me up. He just watched
like the joystick fighter.
The arcade version. Here, check this out.
Star Wars. It's great in the arcade. Whoa! TIE fighters! Fireballs! Coming right at me! Watch the laser towers. Aim for the tops. Pick on the cannons. Use the force. They're coming too fast! It's Ray! It's Ray! My shields are gone! All right! I'm going in!
Oh, some game, huh?
Some game!
I love the way he just like yells it in her face at the end.
Yeah, it's just like no
some game.
All there.
Some game.
Dude, and I love that you can see the layers of like extra hair that they had to like glue on for the wig. And dude's eyes. Yeah, he's high on the Force.
Great perm. It's great.
Yeah, he's high on photon torpedoes.
Yeah, he's high on Star Wars magic, man. That's honestly though, like I like it's we make fun of him, but like I get it.
He lost all of his shields. You don't.
First time I play a Star Wars game, like for the first time, that's absolutely me at the end. 100%.
He lost his
Some game, huh?
Some game.
Yeah, he went all in. He even said it out loud.
He really shouted it from the rooftops.
Commercial, probably. We'd have to like do a deep dive for that one because like episode 1 had some amazing, absolutely had the best marketing. Absolutely.
No, yeah. Yoda and Darth Maul fighting over a can of Brisk, like in a little vending machine area.
Oh my god, the Brisk.
I remember that
Star
one.
Wars Brisk commercials were legendary. That was
the
prime of like the celebrity of MTV Celebrity Deathmatch when we were getting claymation celebrities fighting on a weekly basis, and it was just absolutely legendary. We're gonna need you to tell me more.
Here's another one. I believe this was Pizza Hut.
It's the Pizza Head Show. Hey, everybody! I just saw the Star Wars trilogy at the theater, and hey, what's that? The Death Star is targeting us, and Princess Steva says you're our only hope. He's no princess! Sure he is. No, I won't yell. Now what's happening? Uh-oh, it's Darth Steve. Use the false Pizza Head. Too late! I'm hit! I'm going back to Pizza Hut where it's safe. I don't think the Force was with me. Now you can collect one of 3 Star Wars posters when you buy a Pizza Hut Kids pack.
I don't think the Force is with me. I feel it, Pizza. I feel it.
Absolutely, Mr. Bill. Yeah.
How much fun would that have been, do you think, to make like if you're like a guy who makes commercials, you get to make like a little Star Wars one, shoot with models. Jealous.
I'm sure the person was absolutely having a blast then and is just really kind of feeling that they missed their opportunity now. Because I feel like that type of advertising is so much more. It's just
it was a moment in time. It was a moment.
It's just like absolutely grown. Because like I remember also back in the day when I used to be young.
God damn it!
I know.
You can't do that to me on the air, bro.
So do you remember like the Toys R Us? Do you remember the Toys R Us magazines or like the Lego?
I don't remember shit.
The Lego like the Lego catalogs.
I do remember those.
So, like, that sometime back in the day, like, there had to be, like, their own, media marketing crew. And they're like, all right, go get the bread spray can, go get the shoebox. All right, we're going to cover it in, like, red sand and dirt. And then we're going to say that this is Mars. We're going to put the Lego
put some pipe cleaners
spaceship
in the
on.
bassinet. And there you go. That's your spaceship.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, so it's like, but now, it's like, so we went from the Lego catalog and like Toys R Us marketing to like professional photography on like the Dungeons and Dragons, like the special edition dwarf figure that you got. Like, that those
Such high
example-
quality. Like, it changes so much.
Yeah, the example images on the sides of the box were like absolutely professionally done.
I mean, the technology available to us now has gotten so good. Like 3D printing has changed the game. Like the availability of visual effects and CGI has changed the game. And not just in commercials and not just in the final product, but like Star Wars fan films. So cool these days.
yes,
like,
absolutely.
oh man, dude. Like motion capture, full CG rendering. Like people may not agree with me when I say that we're in the golden age of Star Wars, but we are definitely in the golden age of Star Wars.
No, absolutely. Like,
films,
there was, I'm sure,
no question about it, man.
I'm
Some
sure
super
a
talented
lot
people
of
working with really exciting technology.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of Stormtrooper and some Mandalorian armor still gets made like the old-fashioned way with like the vacuum press and like the plastic seal. Because I forget what movie Lexi and I were watching like a couple days ago, and they like went through some factory, like factory like montage, and like they were doing vacuum sealing of like spaceship parts or like of car parts or something. And I was just like, damn, dude, that's the way that they had to make old school Stormtrooper chest plates, is like they would just get a mold and like make it a certain shape, and then they would like heat the plastic and then just
dude, I was so impressed when I
seal it
found out
and
that was
press
the process. I looked into making my own Stormtrooper armor, just like everyone did when I was about 15. And then when I found out how much like actual skillful manufacturing is involved, I was like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Like that was so intimidating to me.
Yeah.
And now you can literally print it out of a printer and like sand it down and put it on. That's crazy.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. You just have to measure your own head and then find what helmet file you like online, and then just like, make it and do it.
I mean, can you imagine if you had told yourself like 15, 20 years ago, oh yeah, someday you can just print your own minis from a printer. You can just print your own Warhammer, like Lord of the Rings, Dungeons and Dragons. It still blows my mind. I guess I'm just behind the curve at this point because like we're moving ahead of 3D printing at this point, but I'm still very much impressed by it.
No, for sure. Especially the quality difference too. Like the small detail quality that you can get out of resin printing versus like filament printing as well.
Right.
It's just gorgeous.
All right. So in Star Wars news, today, StarWars.com posted our first look at the official cover and variant covers for the upcoming flagship Star Wars series, kicking back off after Return of the Jedi with issue number 1.
Man,
and look at that Phil Noto variant cover right there. Excuse me, that's a Lionel Yu variant cover with Valance right in the middle. My boy Valance. Those of you that are into the Lucasfilm publishing and the Star Wars comics will be very excited, just like I am, to see Valance up there. The Battle for Jakku crossover event ends this week, and then starting in May, we'll be getting the new Star Wars line, and it's going to be concurrent with a lot of things that are happening in the Mandalorian shows and shows. They talk about a pirate threat against the New Republic being part of like the main storyline here, so I see some pretty direct references. Maybe we're going to get Gorian Shard. I would love to get some backstory on Gorian Shard, man. That would be so cool.
Our lettuce pirate. Yeah, man. Our spinach pirate lord. I mean, like, it's him just being like a nuanced side character and just being a story purpose, like, still makes a lot of sense. Like, it would kind of like just what's the other dude that we keep seeing, the pirate that we keep seeing a lot of?
Vane,
like, why? What is your story? What makes you so special that we're using you as like this anchor character between different sub stories? And like,
Vane is the key to all of this.
Yeah, like how
he did nothing, by the way, in this show. He did nothing.
Yeah,
he showed up. Vane will
up.
return. I hope he's in the next thing too.
He like showed up, trash talked, got into a barge, he shot at X-wings. You know, that's what he did.
That's
got
true.
on
He
that
did fire on
turret
some
and he
X-wings.
shot at X-wings.
And he rode on a thing, which, by the way, can we talk about those open air little landing craft that they were on when they were fleeing and the X-wings were just like flying right past them at full speed? Like holding on to that. Imagine the wind shear against your face while you're holding on to that thing.
Yeah, like if you're, those things definitely were the stability of like a hot air balloon basket. Like those things like were the size of just like a skiff boat, and I think that was
nerve-wracking.
Point.
You could not catch me in one of those, especially in like a combat situation.
No,
thank you. No, thank you.
It's the equivalent of an X-wing, I think, like flying past you while you're on a little skiff boat is the equivalent of like you being on the freeway and like you're in your little car and then like a semi truck just zooms past you. That chin on Han.
Hey man, that is a chiseled all Corellian jaw right there. All right.
Like, and he's got a massive deltoid. Like, I'm not even sure if that's Han Solo, if that's Cobra Commander. Like, goddamn.
Cobra Commander, no. Well, I mean, they've got to show us the family resemblance between him and Ben Swolo.
That's fair.
They got to show this is where Adam Driver gets his delts, is from this version of Han Solo.
That's fair.
It's all about accuracy, best friend.
But who's the android with the laser hands in the back?
Dude, who is okay? School is in session. That is Bylert Valance. Bylert Valance is the coolest goddamn bounty hunter that you have never heard of. Apparently, he's cool, man, and he's a 1977 original too. He was in the original Marvel Star Wars comic run. In the new canon, he was a cadet. He was an Imperial cadet alongside Han Solo when Han briefly was a TIE fighter pilot. He was disfigured in a crash. He was disfigured in a crash and basically rebuilt with cyborg parts. So he's the Star Wars canon version of the Terminator. You know,
that's
most of the time he's missing some of his skin, so he's got like exposed skull, like metal skull face. He has a palm blaster built into his hand. He's an absolute badass. There are things that Bendu doesn't know, and that's okay because that gives Bendu an opportunity to see it for the first time, and that's pretty cool. I'm kind of jealous that he gets to learn about Valance for the first time.
Which I appreciate. That's amazing. So, because it's like I knew that Han Solo had his pilot school friends, but I didn't realize that pilot school friend got into a plane accident, and then the Empire was like, "We can rebuild him." And then they're 100%, like, yep, make him Deadshot. Like, it's fine.
It's more than that. They also combined the backstory. He's got kind of a Punisher vibe as well because he had his long lost love who he had to leave behind when he joined the Imperial service, and then he finds out that and then she gets killed. Damn. But the Imperials find out about it and they keep that knowledge from him so that he stays because she's killed by Imperials, and so they lie to him and tell him that she's still alive. And so that he'll keep working for the Imperials. And then he finds out that she's dead and he goes rogue. And
that's such a Schwarzenegger movie.
It's so badass. It's so badass.
That's wow.
Oh my God. I just found a panel of him from 1977 that goes so hard just so I can show you the original Bylert Valance. And my favorite thing, which is a very bold creative choice, is that when they brought him back into live action, I should dream. When they brought him back into canon, they kept him in the same little baby blue jumpsuit that he's been wearing since 1977, and that gets respect. Even now, he's like a tough guy, Terminator, half cyborg, and he's wearing like this nice little sky blue onesie. Yeah.
You know what? It's like the dude from No Country for Old Men who just like had the most fuck ass Farquaad Bob. Dude, that's badass. Look at him.
Look at this guy. Oh. Bylert Valance, my dude. Oh, he's so cool.
It's very Terminator. It's very Cable. He actually reminds me of Khan a little bit too. Like I could see him absolutely hating on Starfleet.
And then here's the new version of him. And he's got some armor, but he's missing half his face again. He has repaired and subsequently lost the skin on his face like 6 times now.
Dude, at that point, like fake skin's just fake skin. You're just
you can't. It's because it's his trademark. You can't do a Valance story without him exposing his like metal skull at some point. They have to do it. It's tradition.
That's like because that's what he really looks like. That's his true form.
Oh, absolutely.
No.
That's his real face. His real face is the metal. That's like the whole point of the story. That he
Like,
has forsaken his humanity for the sake of like, his extra human skill. And then this is the new canon Valance. Literally same dude. Just he was
That's
very
cool.
he was very prominent in the War of the Bounty Hunters. And
Like that, he kind of looks like
love
that
that
one. He looks like Kano from Mortal Kombat.
I can see it. I can
That
see it.
way. He's just like,
Maybe
"Oh,
that's right. I don't think so, man. I think they've already tapped a live action Valance for someday, and I think it's going to be Henry Cavill because he looks the part. He's got the action chops. Valance is like all action all the time. He's very gruff. He's a sad boy. It's good times. Love Valance stories. What up, Crystal? How's it going? Crystal Kyber in the house. I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you some choice cuts of Valance.
Okay, so I hear you. I hear you with the Henry Cavill, and like, dude, like I hear what you're saying on that one, and I'm like, man, if they made that movie the time that Man of Steel came out, like, the dude who played General Zod went so hard. He went so hard.
Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon. He's one of my favorite actors.
Bro,
Michael Shannon.
he would like. I think like because I've seen him do so many other random roles. Like even his character in The Shape of Water was just like this, like just like grody, skinny, just like I don't know, just low level like little dude. But like seeing
he's
him
fantastic in Knives Out.
But like still like a more I don't know like down to earth character and even the irony of that because he was playing a Kryptonian. But like I don't know, seeing him as Zod was just like
Michael Shannon has the ability to just like manifest the most like absolutely terrifying intensity in his face in like a split second.
He was so pissed.
Like he'll just like look normal and then he'll just do something and all of his facial features will just like harden somehow.
Yes.
And his eyes become scary. And you're just like, whoa, dude. I've never seen an actor have like that kind of control over their face the way Michael Shannon can just like not really change anything, but suddenly you're scared of him, like he would also be sick. He would also be sick. I'm seeing Ryan Gosling playing Luke in here. That would be absolutely hilarious. Where's the comment? I can't find it. What's he? Come on,
1,000%. Oh man, could you?
Ted, I got your voucher.
Out!
That'd be hilarious. He would just like I could see it too. He would just wear like he would look like the Kenner Luke Skywalker doll. Is what it would look like. And I think it would be.
I liked your early prediction. It was kind of your gut reaction. It was the first fan cast you threw out there for him of
Cade Skywalker.
Cade Skywalker in a legacy film. And maybe it's because he played Ken and he had like the super bleached blonde hair.
That's what it was. That's what I'm thinking.
I think he could fully pull off, and because he was wearing the stupid fur coat with like no shirt, which is fully just like so Cade Skywalker energy. But like, I think he could pull it off. I think he could.
Out.
The thing is that Cade has to be like sullen and sulky, which Gosling did really well in Blade Runner.
Go to your bed.
You got Chopper running around over there?
I do. Yes. God damn it. He's all over the place today. And I'm so sorry. All good.
No worries.
It's just going to be a great margin. Yeah.
Michael Shannon would make an incredible Sith. I want to see him as like an absolutely unhinged New Republic officer where the power and authority has gone to his head and he's like needs to be stopped. It's like an overzealous thing. Like he hunted down a bunch of Imperials, but now he's like can't tell friend from foe, and he's got too much power. And he's like you can't handle the truth kind of situation. Like I can totally see him being in that role. Yeah, like a corrupt authoritarian but New Republic officer. That's what I would want to see him as.
See, I could see him as the opposite. I would see him as just like the Mace Windu of the Imperial like army or navy. Like I see him just being like for the Empire, just like absolutely. And he'd be like, "What do you mean? you don't say "Hail the Emperor."
Like a true, true believer, like General Pride,
sell it.
General Pride in Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker, the way he just like blast
Absolutely
tucks without a word.
sell it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude, Admiral Pride. Yes, that guy. Fucking old man Loki. Dude, yes.
Hey, if you want more of him, again, read the canon comics, because in the current Vader line, Young Pride is teaming up with Ochi of Bestoon and Sly Moore, and you've got a whole squad of B-string characters that are doing ridiculous things. The Vader comic has had highs and lows. They kind of jumped the shark for a minute there. At one point, he was like pod racing in a sandstorm with Kitster and Wald. Like that happened. That's canon now. He teamed up with Sabe at one point. So we've got like Vader and Keira Knightley running around the place.
That's true.
You got to read the comics, man. I think that you would love them, honestly. And it's all canon and gets frequently referenced on screen and in books too. So like it's useful just to know the timeline as well. Yeah, Michael Shannon, I'd be happy seeing him in any role in Star Wars, honestly. He could play Unkar Plutt and I'd be down with it. He would still find a way to have like intensity in his facial acting through the prosthetics somehow. If anyone could do it, man, it's Michael Shannon.
Bro, Woodsy. Okay, Woodsy. I see you, dude. I'll see you, and I will raise you 100. Could you imagine if we got, for no reason, no context whatsoever, but could you imagine Michael Shannon being like angry ass XL Naga, or not XL Naga? What's that dude's name? One of the old school Sith Lords who looks like
Keldroma.
Bro, could you imagine like if we get like Sith Ghost Keldroma out of like a holocron, and it's just Michael Shannon decked out in like Egyptian gear.
Michael Shannon would be a baller ass like ancient Sith coming out of a holocron, man.
Just talking about how blasphemous and arrogant the Jedi were from the very beginning, and how like, yeah, we were bloodlusty Sith, and yeah, but we weren't wrong for it.
Exar Kun would also be perfect. He would be really good for Exar Kun. I could see him with like a ridiculous huge braid.
Exar Kun, I want Mad Mikkelsen, but Mad Mikkelsen is already what's his nuts in Rogue One.
When it comes to Darth Malgus, though, I've been saying this for a while, but Darth Malgus, we just need to wait like 15, maybe 20 years until Tom Hardy is like an older man, and then he will be the perfect Darth Malgus.
Is Malgus old though? I thought Malgus was just like young.
He's older than Tom Hardy is right now.
I mean, like at that point, we should just have half Thor Bjornsson. We should just have the Mountain play Malgus, because he's the perfect.
That wouldn't be too bad either. That could work too.
We just shave his head. He's already had a stroke, so half of his face is kind of questionable. So, but it's like, and he just needs to be a brute beat stick. Like, let's go. Put him in the Malgus armor. Absolutely.
Since we're talking Exar Kun, I just grabbing a photo real fast. My fan cast for Exar Kun has been Stephen Lang for a while, because after he played the villain in Conan the Barbarian, like this dude right here needs to be a Sith Lord.
I could see him.
He needs to be a Sith Lord with like a sleeveless robe and like some crazy Sith tattoos and like a dual staff. I could see him just like, just like stalking around on Yavin in one of the Massassi temples, just being angry all the time. He'd be so good, dude.
I could see that. He's great in Avatar. It's because he's like the most grizzled, asshole, horrible human being. Like, because he is the epitome of like militaristic capitalist society. Like, he's just like
Colonel Korch.
Yeah, dude. Like,
if you haven't seen it in a while, watch the Jason Momoa Conan the Barbarian, because he's so good as the villain in that.
Even the sequel, his character was wild, because even in the sequel, his character was like, I know I'm a clone. I don't give a shit. My human form must have been weak as hell if he got killed. That's fine. Like, dude, that's
what do you think about
finds his dead body.
Didn't care.
He finds his own dead body in the mech. He picks up his skull and crushes it, like essentially calling his old self a bitch. Like,
he's like, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like I lived, bitch meme, but instead he's like, I died, bitch.
And now I came back.
I'm still coming for you. Like,
my brain's
a piece of my own skull.
Yeah. Timeline, storyline, character development are key. Yeah, I mean, I've always.
We opened the show with this one. We talked about it, and it has been deemed debunked.
Jeez.
Yeah, it has turned out to not be true, unfortunately. As much as we would all like to see Natalie Portman back in Star Wars, never say never. Maybe someday. Ooh, Mark Strong is Darth Malak. I don't want to fight you, man. I want to pledge my sword to you and join this quest.
Wait, which
I'm
one's
on
Mark
board.
Strong?
I'm
I
fully
gotta
on
Google.
board, man.
I gotta Google.
Nah, dude.
Mark Strong.
Mark Strong would be a great Malak. He'd be a great Malak. We can briefly talk about the Daredevil trailer.
Oh yes,
I'm
absolutely.
sure Bendu wants to talk. I have not seen the
Mark Strong is Malak.
until a few moments ago about the Daredevil trailer. Yes, finish that Darth Malak point first.
Just like looking at pictures of the dude online, I'm like, yes, absolutely. I could easily see because everyone on the internet
He was great in Dune Prophecy.
Like everyone still fan casts Keanu Reeves as Revan, right? And I'm just like, I'm looking at this dude. See if I can like non-glare my camera.
He looks like human head number 4.
I'm looking at this dude, and then I'm thinking about like visually his face and Keanu Reeves together, and I'm like, dude, that's some synergy right there. Like I would absolutely believe that that's Revan and Malak right there for a second. Like truly, like that would be pretty cool. But like again,
the trailer came out 6 days ago. Is that the one you're talking about for Daredevil?
I haven't seen any new trailers for Daredevil. The last
you haven't seen any trailers for it.
No, I said I haven't seen a new one or a recent one. The last superhero-ish comic book movie trailer I saw was for Superman, where we got to see Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. Guy Gardner, I think is his name, with the weird fucking
with the weird haircut,
with the bowl cut. Yeah. But yeah, Daredevil Resurrected. This is supposed to take place after the Netflix show,
which I haven't seen.
After Echo,
which I haven't seen.
Hawkeye.
Oh, I have seen Echo.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, Wilson Fisk is still alive. So, like, didn't
he get shot in the head?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, from Echo, yeah, but I guess he's still alive.
But then he got better.
But yeah, no, it's good shit. It's good shit. I'm glad that it's.
Well, let's watch the trailer. Let's take a look.
I'm glad it's the same guy.
Daredevil Resurrection, or Resurrected, I guess.
The rumor I heard of the villain is going to be a dude named. Actually, I can't remember what his name is.
Well, don't tell me anyway. Let the trailer tell me. Now, you haven't seen this one. You've seen this one before, or you haven't seen this one yet?
I don't know.
Well, let's find out. Let's find out together. Daredevil Resurrection or Resurrected. One of the two.
I thought it was called Daredevil Born Again, but okay.
Daredevil, whatever it is. I do not know. I literally don't know. But I'm about to find out. Let's do it.
Thank you for finding the time.
I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again. A lot of time passed. By the look of it, you've come up in the world.
Are they? Like,
I can say the same about you.
The mayor serves his city.
They're like Batman and the Joker.
I can.
Well, he got it. Like he was arrested, did his time.
Can you blame me?
He's still like the criminal at heart.
The feeling that you're gaming the system.
Why did you stop being a vigilante?
The line was crossed.
It's hard to come to terms with a violent nature. Hating the power it has over us.
This city can't go unchecked.
Like the organ.
Sometimes peace needs to be broken.
Oh.
And chaos must reign.
Oh, what up, Frank Castle?
Oh, he's the Punisher.
What up, Punisher?
I was raised to believe in grace.
But yeah, the dude is a serial killer and he can't.
Oh!
To believe in retribution.
The lion sound?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's
Cool
go.
logo. I like the way it has like the city skyline in the bottom of the logo.
Let's go. So yeah, so I forget what the dude's name is, but his superpower is that
Which dude?
the villain, the blood artist. I don't remember what.
Oh,
his
that
real name
okay, sure. That's who that
I don't
was.
remember what his real name is, but yeah, I know he's a serial killer, and then he uses the blood of the people that he's killed, and he makes portraits. He paints murals with it. But he has some sort of superpower where, like,
Pretty metal.
his Daredevil's thing is all like he super hears, he super smells. Muse, yeah, thank you. But what's his power though? He has something where he can make himself. He's like he can nullify.
You could do something with the blood.
He can make it so that Daredevil can't sense when he's near him, which makes fighting him super difficult or whatever. Like he has a way of making himself seem like not invisible. Like that's
How does Daredevil fight people around him?
Because he can smell them, he hears them, he senses.
Oh, he just uses the other senses.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I wonder what he does. Maybe he like is able to like nullify his own senses somehow. Controls the flow of his blood like a bloodbender.
I think so. I think like that might be part of it.
That's a cool idea.
It'll be curious to see like what they do with it.
Well, that looks interesting.
Yeah,
I feel like
Daredevil
that trailer strongly relied on you having previous knowledge of these characters and their relationships with each other.
I mean, probably at least with Daredevil and Kingpin.
Yeah, that's what I was like at that diner scene in the beginning. Like you could tell that was like a big moment for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell where they have little pauses where like there'd be a cheer, you know.
I mean, Kingpin lost his wife. I don't know. It's kind of like Lex Luthor, where you had a character who started off like absolute gangster, like absolute villain, and then over time, like he went to prison, he paid his dues, and then like tried to in a way come clean and then make the city better.
So he like reformed himself.
He reformed himself, and then but because of the fact that he has such a violent, because he has such a criminal past, like you can't really. Once an addict, always an addict,
Right.
So I think with Murdoch, like that was kind of the question of that he asked. It was like, so why aren't you a vigilante anymore? Like, why aren't you like doing the thing that like?
I get it. They're two sides of the same coin. They both have a violent nature. He chooses to use his for good, and Fisk uses his for evil.
Well, it was for evil, and then he tried to do good, and then he kind of had a Zuko moment of like, why am I so bad at being good? And then he's still
did he have that moment after the Echo show? Because he was pretty bad in Echo.
I think that happens like in between Daredevil season 2 and Hawkeye.
So because Fisk because Echo is after all that, and Fisk is definitely not a good guy in that.
I thought Echo took place before Hawkeye.
I think it's afterwards. Because during Hawkeye, that's when Echo finds out the truth about her father and everything, right?
I don't know. It's been too many years.
She starts off in Echo knowing the truth about her father, so it has to be after Hawkeye. I'm pretty sure it also like it does the whole flashback thing. Yeah, that's what I thought. Fisk is definitely not a good guy. Maybe he's reformed in some way, but like the only exposure I've had to this guy was in Echo. That's the only thing I've seen with him as a character in it. And he was definitely the bad guy. That's all I know. You know a lot more than I do. That's the one thing I know. Like, he's not a good guy.
Dude, the car door scene. The car door scene is essentially just like him calling his role back from God, man, it was almost as brutal as like when all the other soldiers were like hitting him with the bars of soap and with the socks in Full Metal Jacket. Like the car door scene was just like there's a lot, man. Like they definitely like had perfect casting, absolutely perfect casting.
And this is in the Netflix show.
This was the Netflix show, yeah. And now
I gotta watch it. I gotta go back and watch that.
Doing it and making it. Well, now it's all on Disney Plus.
Oh, really? That makes it easier.
I'm not sure what he's referencing when he said, like when he quit being a vigilante, he said that lines were crossed. So I don't know if that's something that we'll eventually hear or talk about because I don't remember anything really special happening in the horrible Defenders show.
Well, did he stop being a vigilante by the end of the Netflix show?
Yeah, he wanted to dedicate himself to just being a lawyer. And
Well,
then
maybe
that's
that's just what he was referring to.
and then that's the last time we saw him. And then we get to see him in a cameo in She-Hulk, where he clearly is still a vigilante and clearly still doing Daredevil shit.
Right.
So yeah, who knows? Who knows? Those are questions for Google and for answers to come out later.
We will find out though. The answers will come eventually.
Captain America New Order is also coming out on February 14th.
Oh,
and
that's
we get
pretty soon.
Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. So let's go. You know,
I'll probably see it. I'll probably see it when it hits streaming.
I like Defenders. Hey, Defenders had some good parts. Luke Cage, phenomenal. Jessica Jones, also phenomenal. Shout out to that girl. Shout out to, oh man,
I heard that show.
I watched Breaking Bad. I still feel sorry for her. God damn.
Oh right, it's her. It's Jane, right?
Yeah.
Oh damn. Oh,
the only horrible thing about Defenders is the Iron Fist. And everything with the Iron Fist, everything about that show is great except for the Iron Fist himself. And it's like, that's just so fucking sad. It's so sad and amazing that Netflix was able to do such incredible casting. And then in this one show, they dropped the ball so hard. So hard. They just shattered the glass. They had the bowl and then they dropped it. And then the cereal was all over the floor. Rosario Dawson, she was in all the Netflix shows. She was the night nurse. She was the night nurse who like learned how to fight and who was like had the relationship with Luke Cage. And she was
in all of them. You could say she was the vein.
She was the anchor character. Yeah, for sure. So
dude, Ralph Ineson, I've been waiting for him to get into Star Wars too. He was great in Willow, and he was also awesome in Nosferatu. It was one of the most recent things I think I saw him in.
Oh, was he? Yes, was he the doctor?
He was the doctor. Yeah, he was the doctor.
And then he was the dad in The Witch.
I haven't seen The Witch yet. I'm gonna react.
What?
To it, but yeah,
what?
I haven't seen that.
What?
One.
Really?
Yes, the only Eggers one that I haven't seen is The Witch.
Oh my god!
The reaction to it is coming on Grizzly Wizard soon, though.
What? Okay, see, that's fine. Both of us equally had our own shock and awe moments, best friend. Of like,
no, we're on even footing. We're on even footing here. It's all good. It's all good. We have one more thing to get to here, and it is our very lovely
glorious
of the week.
Yes.
So this time, this Gonk right here, this lovely little 3D render of a Gonk.
That's amazing.
From Julie Strader on Instagram. Here is the best Star Wars character, Gonk Droid. I made it using Blender and Substance Painter. This is my 4th attempt at using Substance Painter. Well, I will say you nailed it. This is very, very nice little Gonk right here. Number 168. I guess one critique I would have is that the numerals should be in Aurebesh. But other than that, there's nothing immersion breaking about it. I really like the color scheme. I like that we have like an asymmetrical white stripe and then the orangey yellow stripe going down the front like that. Yes. I like the readout screen as well.
It very much gives off, and like plus with the little canisters in the back too. Like we haven't really seen what Gonks, because we know that they're batteries, right? We know that they give off specific energy and that they recharge stuff. But like, I like how this one seems very specific to be an electricity bot. Like this is very much
multiple power hookups, like different kinds of attachments.
And like even the little lightning sticker logo. It's like this is very much like potentially a defibrillator Gonk. Like what if this is the Gonk that hangs out on the ambulance? And like they open it up and then they put the defibrillators on people.
Clear.
Like he's the defibrillator Gonk. Like this is amazing.
I think you're absolutely right, Droid Herder. We need more floodlight Gonks. The floodlight is a really good little accessory.
This is the emergency services Gonk. Oh my god, this is your
give him a little siren on the end of that antenna.
Yeah, this is like your village just got hit with a tropical storm, and like these guys just start walking around your town, walking around your village.
Yeah, it can be disaster relief. He's a mobile hotspot. He's like a walking generator. He can like power the house, power the ship.
Yes, exactly.
You could probably pop a little microwave, like a TV dinner in him. He has enough like residual radiation. He could like pop some popcorn for you. But yeah, this is a fantastic Gonk. We have decided to widen the parameters, just widen our scope, cast a bigger net with our gonks of the week, and we are now accepting submissions from non-physical gonks. That's right. 3D renders are now viable submissions.
Digital
We're also
art is still
accepting
art.
submissions of 3D prints and custom action figures,
Yes.
physical models. So all gonks, send us any and all gonks you got. We will rate
All
them. We will
mediums.
tell you how good they
All
are.
art.
Speaking
all
of which,
art.
you're right. It is a gonk of all trades. That's exactly what he is. What are you going to give? What value will you assign to this gonk by Julie Strader? Give me a value out of 10. What does this gonk get from you?
10. Let's see.
Remember, you gave that last week's gonk. Do you remember what you gave it?
I don't remember. I know
You gave it 99 out of 10.
Yeah, because
You gave it 99 out of 10.
It had Clone Troop 90. It had a Clone Troop 99 sticker on it. It had a Clone Troop 99. It was. Oh,
it had like a Sabine style loath cat. Like that one was very nice. It deserved its 99. I'm just reminding you of your previous score for a benchmark. That's all.
That one was the gonk of the people, whereas this one is an adorable gonk with a job.
This is hashtag gonks with jobs. This gonk takes his work very seriously. Clearly.
Trying to think what's a good hospital number, or like I'm trying to think because like 911. That's not really. I can't say I give it 911.
This gonk has first responder energy though.
Right.
You call 911 an emergency. This looks like a gonk that would help you in an emergency. I see where you're going with it. I think that works. I think you can make a case for the 911.
Or like, what's Paw Patrol's number? Like, I don't know.
Leave them out of this. Enough is enough.
I'm giving this little guy a 12 out of 10 gonks.
12 out of 10 gonks. It's acceptable.
13,
acceptable. I think it's well earned.
13's an unlucky number, quote unquote. That's a scary number.
I mean, take a look at the textures here. It's not just like a nice paint job, but it's got some really cool like scuff marks and scores on it. Like it's nice and weathered. Got this little unique restraining bolt.
I like its face. I like that it has like we've never seen a gonk with a digital interface face before.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think of like an equalizer. Like it moves to the beat of the music.
Like you could easily program that gonk to have a smile on its face, which would be very appeasing and like calming to children in an emergency situation. Even better, just top corner eyes and then a flat line for the mouth on the bottom. like what was the robot from Big Hero 6? Like BMO?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Just BMO's from Adventure Time.
Just super neutral face all the time. Like just gonks, period.
Yes.
Okay, 12 out of 10. That's pretty respectable. I think I'm going to meet you and raise you by 1. And I'm just going to give it a 13 out of 10 because I think I want to be in the same ballpark. All the same reasons that you're illustrating. This is a very well-constructed little rendering of a gonk. I do wish it was physical. I wish I could like hold it in my hand and give it a hug. But that's my own personal issues. That has nothing to do with.
Theoretically, since this gonk is 3D rendered and is a digital model, I wouldn't imagine that it would be. I'm sure it would still be very difficult.
Since you created it with Blender and Substance Painter for the textures, I'm pretty sure you can convert Blender models to STL files pretty easily. One could, in theory, 3D print this. One could do that. Yes,
you could. Yeah, like if you could convert the files.
You're right. He's not a first responder. He's like the 8th responder. Because anyone with long legs will get there first.
Is that a small feet joke? Is that a little legs joke? How dare you? Clearly, they would put him on a speeder. Clearly, they would speed us away. They wouldn't leave.
He's like gonna speed you away. No, I think they would. See, the thing is, they put the body on the stretcher, and then he waddles away with the repulsor lift stretcher at like 0.1 mile an hour.
Yeah,
that's how we do.
Because he wants
slow and steady. The gonk takes things slow and steady.
Exactly.
Gonk.
He's just a careful little guy.
Do you think if there was a medical gonk, like a retrofitted gonk for medical functions, do you think instead of going gonk, he'd go Uba?
He would say what?
He'd be like Uba, Uba. Like
that would be hilarious.
Like the pregnancy droid,
say gonk. It would probably still say gonk, but it would be in the Uba.
Yeah, it'd be really like reassuring, comforting, like gonk, gonk,
gonk, gonk. Yeah, absolutely.
Gonk, sympathetic gonk. You okay? Gonk.
Yeah, that's immediate. Yes. That's
what I need. I need a very sympathetic medical gonk that does like a sighing gonk noise. Oh man!
Yeah,
Well,
and
we've
then-
officially
and then
drove
it has a
one
little,
more
and then it has
podcast
a little
off the
claw
road.
hand that pats you on the back, or like
Yeah, the manipulator
yeah.
arm. You need that. You need that.
Yeah, it has the utility arm that pats you on the head, tells you you're okay.
He gives you affirmations. Makes
Yeah.
you feel better. That's what we all need.
Works
Emotional
medical
support
dogs.
gonk. Well, we've derailed another podcast.
We
really
didn't.
good at
We
that.
stayed on topic. That was Gonks. This is a Gonk.
It's true. No, we did.
encouragement.
Much like a Gonk droid, we waddled our way through the itinerary of news and Star Wars rumors.
Yes.
And we've made it to the end. And you all joined us on this wonderful journey. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been the Dork Forces podcast, episode number 95. 95, my best friend. We are
We're almost at 100.
We are almost at 100. We're going to have to think of something real special to do. Give people a fun treat for that. That's going to be coming up on us very quickly. Only 5 weeks to go.
Question: Are you guys going to Star Wars Celebration in Japan? Kyle Katarn is. He'll be, and Hera. He will be.
I will be there. Hera will be there. We've got a couple good friends and mutual friends going as well. We're all going to be getting together and hanging out. If you're going to be in Star Wars Celebration Japan and you see us on the con floor, don't be afraid to come up and say hi. We would love to meet you. That'd be really fun. But thanks again, everybody, for watching. This has been the Dork Forces podcast. We go live every Tuesday at 7 PST. We'll be back with more Star Wars news, rumors, memes, and laughs then. Thanks again for watching. And as always, may the Force be with you.